laid down wide flat to hit a standard pitch shot, right? And so if I was just going to hit a little basic pitch, the club face might not hardly be open. What's up, y'all? So today we're going to cover a little short game. It's sunny, it's a little chilly, but you know what? We can still get after it. Why not? So I tinkered around with a little bit of something with a couple of students here lately, and what I have found is you don't have to open the club face a lot in short game, like you kind of hear about, open it up, open it up, open it up. You may not have to open the face as much as you think you need, and there's a specific style that you can use that facilitates one or the other. So before we get into that, gotta do the mandatory: subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with your friends, help a pro out. Let's keep this gravy train running. Let's talk about what we're going to do to make your short game a little bit better, a little less confusing. Let's get after it. All right, everybody, we're out here on the short game green. We have a pretty decent little shot here. Not really short-sided, but it's a difficult shot. And nice fairway lie, everything's hunky-dory, right? So here's what we're going to do. I get asked, Coach, do I need to open the face? How much do the club face do I need to open? And I get this question a lot. And the reason why I'm bringing this up today is because I've tinkering around with a couple of students this last few weeks with this thought that when you're a handsier golfer, you don't have to open the club face as much because you're already unloading the golf club more into impact anyways. And so you're going to be lofting the club a little bit easier than somebody who has that no hinge, kind of rotary, really still hands. They're going to need a little more help to get the club or the ball lofted. So here's just a standard little pitch. And so if you're a handsier golfer and we have the club face set square, you may only need to open the face just a smidge, if at all, when you grip the golf club. So let's try that, right? So this is for a player who likes using a lot of hands, is a very handsy style. You get set up, face is a little more square, and you're gonna be the one that unloads the club head. That left hand is gonna break down a little quicker. And let's see what that kind of looks like. So, pretty good little shot. I tend to tug it when I do that because I'm used to face being a little more open, right? But the shot got up, had a lot of spin on it. We produced a lot of friction, right? And friction is a great thing to have if you want to spin the golf ball. Then conversely, if you have the player who doesn't use a lot of hands, wants to be more like a Steve Stricker, kind of lock the wrist out, they might need to open the face a lot more to kind of get the bounce to engage and have a little bit better use of the turf. So we get set up here, and if we're going to be more of our Steve Stricker style, we're going to use a little less hands, a little more hips and shoulders, kind of locking the arms in, got the face more open. And that one worked out pretty good too, and in line. So what we have to kind of factor is what style golfer are you, right? So if you watch yourself on video, if you know that when you get to impact, your handle of your golf club looks more straight up, you probably don't need to open the club face as much as somebody who, when they come in, has their hands a little bit more in front. And the reason why is obviously because you're taking away loft when you have the handle in front, right? But also too is if you have a lot of hand action going into the ball, and we're doing this a lot, and the club face is really open, well then I have the potential to kind of throw the hosel at it, right? And we don't want to do that. But then also the leading edge might sit up a little too high, right? So kind of depending on how we unload the golf club, it could make it very difficult to get a very consistent square hit on the face. Now again, it's not to say you can't open the face, it's just that you don't need it laid down wide flat to hit a standard pitch shot, right? And so if I was just going to hit a little basic pitch, the club face might not hardly be open at all. And I'll let that left hand break down. I can set to hit some pretty soft little pitch shots that still don't dig into the earth and still has a nice little interaction with the bounce. And so the keys, remember there, is that your left hand, you want to feel that left hand break down, unlike in a full swing or a driver swing. We don't want that lead wrist to break. We want that lead wrist to stay more this way when we hit our full swing shots. And Joe Mayo told me this when I was watching him give a lesson to a tour professional. Amateur golfers speed the ball up when they want to slow it down, and they slow the ball down when they want to speed it up. And basically he's just referring to how much flexion or extension you have in your lead wrist. So if you have a lot of extension in your left hand, you'll tend to slow the ball down. If you have a lot of flexion in that lead hand, tend to speed the ball up, because that's going to come with more shaft lean. So then again, if we have our kind of more rotary pitcher of the golf ball, the person who likes to turn really hard and use a lot of the chest muscles in their thorax and hips, they may not use their hands as much. They might have to lay the face open more to kind of use the bounce in their favor. And it's going to feel very unison, is the best word I can describe it. Everything's going to feel in unison that way. I personally don't like that style because I feel too tense. It tenses me up whenever I try and do that shot. So I'm not a big fan of taking my hands out of the play, and I like to use my hands, right? For me, it's kind of like taking Jerry Rice off the field when you got 20 yards left to the end zone. You need somebody to go up there in the corner and grab it. So for me, I love using my hands, so I don't always open the club face as much as others and end up setting up a lot more square. And my hands tend to break down, and that's fine. The key things between using your hands and flipping, while we're on the subject, is a flip. We stop the turn, and we stop our hands, and the club head passes. Even though I don't feel like I'm turning a lot when I use my hands don't stop moving to the target. They keep moving as I release. So it's not a flip, it's just a release. And so we have to be careful with that, because if my hands stop to try and throw it, then we have problems, right? So that's the big thing. The big difference would be like if a baseball player was going to throw it to first to throw the guy out, and just goes that way and throws it from behind his head and doesn't give it the full extension with his right arm. Same thing, right? So if you haven't seen one of my previous videos where we talked about the 3 wrist conditions, go watch that, because that dictates a lot of what you're seeing here today too, right? If you use a lot of hands, you don't have to set the face open as much. If you don't use your hands at all, you might have to set the face open more to utilize the bounce. So if you like the video, guys, you know what to do. Like and comment down below, share the love, share it with your friends, and make sure you follow the channel so you get all this great content for free. And write down what you want to see from me more, so I can send you guys some more tips and great videos on practicing. Till then, go make some birdies. See y'all later.